Hello, women's hockey fans. Welcome to another episode of the Founding Four podcast. I am your host, Erica Lindsay Ayala. The Founding Four podcast is an independent women's hockey podcast aiming to bring you interviews and insight about the women's hockey game from coaches, players, analysts, and others around the sport. We continue the Founding Four podcast this episode with our special series, The Original Eight. In the NWHL, the National Women's Hockey League, we have 5 almost complete seasons. We still have the 5th season, Isabel Cup. That was postponed because of coronavirus. But we've had 5 regular seasons of the National Women's Hockey League, and there have been 8 players that have played and suited up in all 5 of those seasons, hence the original 8. We continue this special series today with our guest, who is a founding member of the New York Riveters and has played the last 4 seasons with the Connecticut Whale. That is the one, the only, the big bad defender, Elena Orlando, aka Lando. And a special shout out to Lando and all of the other people in the healthcare profession. This is a tough time for the country, for the world. So if you haven't thanked someone in the healthcare profession, please thank them. I'll start by sending all of my love to Lando, and I'm recording this after the final episode of NWHL Open Ice has aired, so we have Lindsay, aka Gamer Doc, as well. Great final episode. Stick taps to you, Lindsay, for doing a great job. I was blessed to be one of the guests. I think perhaps the only guest who's never played ice hockey, so that's really exciting. But all seriousness, Lindsay has done a great job, and again, just make sure you're thanking someone in the healthcare profession. All right, all that put aside for a moment, I'm going to get into this interview with Elena Orlando. We had a quick chat at Webster Bank Arena. That was after the final home game of the Connecticut Whale season. We talk, as we do with everyone who is a member of the Original 8, some of the fond memories from Lando's 5 years with the NWHL, some of her thoughts on the other members of the Original 8, and much more. Here's my interview with Elena Orlando. All right. This came up as Monster Jam. Oh, you're Monster Jam too.
Oh.
I don't know where that's coming from. But, okay, so we're here in the bowels of Webster Bank Arena with Elena Orlando, one of the 5-timers in the NWHL. First of all, I have to say, I don't know if you, I didn't mention this to you earlier, but do you remember when you were at, I guess we were at Barnabas, and it was that like open tryout or whatever, and you asked me to take a picture of you. Do you remember this? I got to show you the picture. We're going to do this live on the pod. I believe you told me it was your blue steel look. I still have it.
Oh, I do remember. Now that you say that, I definitely do remember.
Blue steel?
Now
okay.
I got to see this.
Let's see. I have a few versions. I put a filter or 2 on there. Look at that.
Ooh.
Blue steel, black
that
and
is...
white. little enhancement. Of
oh my God. That might be my best look ever.
Best look ever.
Yes, definitely.
Blue
Might need to change my profile picture for that one.
I'll send it. I'll make sure you got it.
Yes.
I'll make sure you got it. But, that was after season 1. But now we flash forward, and we're here at season 5, wrapping up at least the home games for the Connecticut Whale. First, I just want your reactions to being in this league, being a founding member of this league, and playing on the ice all 5 years.
I mean, it's been amazing.
As
I stare myself in the eyes, and I speak to myself on this.
Elena, what do you think?
What do you think? Well, I think this.
We'll close that.
It's honestly been such an amazing experience. I've been so lucky to have been here since the beginning, and kind of see how the league has grown and how things have changed year to year, and just create amazing memories with new teams each year, and I feel really lucky to have made it this far. It's been an amazing experience.
I've spoken to a few of the other five-timers, as I like to call them, and some of the things that I think were interesting is, like Packer mentioned, that it's tough to kind of come out here and decide to play hockey. After every season. You get deeper in, and there are lots of sacrifices. I mean, for everyone in the league. But again, you've done this 5 times over. What are some of those challenges as they pertain to you and your schedule, other things that you want to do, and how have you always come back to the decision to play?
I mean, it's definitely like an all-consuming decision, everything. You got to coordinate schedules with work and playing, make sure everything, things don't overlap with games and practices. And I coach also, so just making sure, juggling all those things and just, still trying to have a social life of a little bit. Some sort of it. But, just like still just taking care of myself, like mental health and, everything like that, making sure everything flows well. But I love this game. I love this sport. I love playing and going out there every weekend, every week, having practices and stuff and doing what I love. So it's tough, but it's an easy decision for me because I'm not ready to give it up, and I love what we're doing here, and I think that it's really helping to grow the sport.
So you're one of 8 players that have played all 5 seasons. There are a few players that have switched teams. Fratty's got the numbers the highest. So you've never played with Kaylee Fratkin. Mm-mm. You've never played with Corrine Bowie. You've never played with Jillian Dempsey.
Nope.
I think everyone else you've played with. So you've played with Kira, obviously with Packer.
Yep.
You've played with Jordan Brickner.
Yep.
And you've played with Doyle. So thinking of the players that you haven't played with, again, same type of kind of question. You know what it has taken for you to come out here season after season, do your thing. When you think of, you think of Dempsey, when you think of Fratty, when you think of Bowie, and what they mean for their respective franchises and for the league, what comes to your mind?
Just a huge respect. They come in, I don't know their personal lives, but they come in and they're great players. They're, highly respected players, made huge impacts on their teams, their organizations year in and year out. So just a huge respect for what they do. They're great players. I've had a chance to meet a couple of them, and they're really great people too. So I think just a huge respect for what they do.
And you meet them on the ice plenty of times.
Oh, definitely plenty of times.
all fun, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's like,
maybe there's a couple shoulder rubs here and there.
Here and there. And, you just share your favorite recipe, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
But you've also had an opportunity, I'm sure, to make a lot of memories with the players that have been on your team. So I asked Kira about Japan. You went to Japan?
Oh, yeah, I definitely went to Japan.
With the Riveters that first year. Well, first, I just think that was such an awesome trip. So what do you remember about that trip, or your impressions of being able to play a few games out there?
It honestly was the best time ever. It was a great Riveters the first year, a great team, great group of people, and it was just being able to go, foreign country with them and, experience that whole thing together. Had a nice night in Tokyo and stuff like that. So it was just a really great time, a lot of bonding experiences. When I think back of the year, I have so many great memories of that, and that trip definitely stands out. So I love that trip, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, Kira was the worst person to ask about that trip. She's like, Erica, I don't even know what day it is. You're asking me something that happened 4 years ago. But the one thing she did vividly remember was the party on the plane on the way back.
Oh yeah, that whole trip was just nonstop fun. So definitely a good time, start to finish.
Excellent, good times. I heard a few folks got lost, but they made their way back.
They were able to, get back on the plane. So we never left. We didn't leave anyone in Japan. That's all that mattered.
There you go. All right, that's all we need to know. And I believe on that trip, that was the trip that Danny Ryland hit the ice at.
Oh yes, yes. That was that. Everyone had a good time about that. Danny was our GM that year, and she made the trip out with us, and we were short some bodies, and she stepped up out there and had a good time. It went for little victory tour there, I guess. So, it was everyone was loving it. Everyone was kind of making some jokes at her and stuff like that, So, but it was all in good fun, and everyone was loving it. So it was a good time.
That's good times for sure, for sure. We're 5 years in to the NWHL. I think it's safe to say, regardless of anything else that's happening, that this league has really made waves, and has been able to push the envelope for not just women's ice hockey, but a lot of things that Anya has tried to do with the PA. It's just like pushing this conversation generally when it comes to women's sports. If you think about the next 5 years of the league, what would you like to see happen in that next 5 years? Is it expansion? Is it things day to day that are different for players? Just what would you hope that at the 10-year mark we can say about the NWHL?
I just really hope it continues to grow the way that it is. Obviously nothing's perfect right now, and that the league is doing a great job working to make sure that we're getting to where we need to go. Anya is a testament to that, and anyone that has talked to her or knows what she does just sings her praises about how great of a job she's really doing to push this sport and to push this league to be what it has the potential to being. I just would like to see more visibility for the league, more like sponsorship opportunities. I think this year has been huge with the amount of sponsors that they've gotten, and I think that just kind of speaks to what this league is doing and where we're going to. But I just want to see it continue to grow, more visibility, more people being excited about women's hockey in general, so that we can bring this league and bring the sport to where it needs to be.
And so Kira said she's in whatever Danny or anyone else needs. She's like, sign her up. Doyle is, I don't know, she needs some more time to think about it. But what say you, Lando? Do you see yourself staying involved in one shape, way, or form for that next 5 years?
I would love to. I would love to continue as a player, definitely. But this league has made such an impact on my life, and everybody around me, and like all the kids growing up get to see some role models, people on the ice, and whatever I can do to keep this league growing, keep the sport growing, I definitely would jump at the opportunity.
All right, folks, you heard it here. Keep those Lando jerseys popping. Jersey Sherzies, have them ready. She's still going.
There you go. Yep.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Always a pleasure.
Is it kicking you out of here?
I don't know, probably. Want to thank Lando for coming on the show. And as you see, I put her on the spot early on. For those who saw my open ice interview, you might have heard me allude to this picture that I took of Lando. She went to the open tryout after season 1 and eventually ended up with the Connecticut Whale. But I was on the bench checking out the tryout. And I don't know, Lando was like, hey, take a picture of me. And I was like, okay, sure. I'm not a photographer, but I'll go for it. And that's what she gave me. She gave me her blue steel look. So that is now the image that will go with this podcast. But, good insight from Lando. She talked about that Japan trip, talked about being with the Connecticut Whale and playing against some of the other players. If you listen to the Jillian Dempsey episode, you probably heard her talk a little bit about Lando being feisty on the ice. That's one of my favorite memories of Orlando. In season 1, there was this big brawl, you can look it up on YouTube, between the Connecticut Whale and the New York Riveters. And Lando came off of the bench when things popped off. Like Ashley Johnston, aka Stretch, got pushed down to the ice. And Lando came zooming out of nowhere and just held her team down. I was a fan at the time in the stands watching that game. And I remember banging on the ice because I saw what Lando saw and I didn't like it. I felt like I almost bruised my collarbone banging on the ice. But at the end of that game, Lando gets suspended. She misses a game. I remember the next time I saw her after that, I was like, dude, I like how you hold down your team. I'm not really about the fighting and hockey. I just, throwing the gloves off for the entertainment factor. I just didn't get it. But when you hold your team down, I like it. She's a fierce competitor, Elena Orlando. And our next guest actually will be Kaylee Fratkin, who never played with Elena Orlando, but definitely had some great analysis of how Lando plays. So you see what I did there? Sandwiched that. So we have Jillian Dempsey, Elena Orlando, and then we go into Fratty talking a little about Lando. Great conversation with Fratty. We were able to go a little bit longer. This was shortly after we got word that the Isabel Cup had been postponed. And so I spoke with Fratty on the phone. So we'll have that for you next week. Also this week coming up, you're going to want to make sure you are following, liking, subscribed. Certainly want to make sure you are subscribed to the Founding Four Pod, because we have Bray Ketchum. Bray Ketchum Peel is going to be coming on the show. We're going more toward our traditional episodes. So she will be the next interview for the Founding Four Pod, and then next week for the original 8 series, Kaylee Fratkin. Almost have all 8 scheduled for interviews. We're so close, but we have Fratty, and then I'll let you know what we have coming up. But please everyone, stay safe, stay healthy. We're all in this together, making sure that we as a society, as a world, are doing our part to keep everyone safe, to keep everyone healthy and in good spirits. And hopefully the Founding Four podcast is one of the ways that you can keep your spirits high, learn a little bit about women's hockey, and as always, support women in sport. So you can follow us at Founding Four Pod on Twitter. You can follow me, Erica Lindsay Ayala, at elindsay08 on Instagram and Twitter, mostly on Twitter. So until next time, as Gamer Doc would say, have a happy, have a healthy, and I'll see you later. Bye!